So as we hear our chimes, it reminds us that we're here now in this calm, peaceful setting. Whether you're here in person at the Community Arts Center or whether you are joining us through the YouTube channel for the Community Arts Center of Cambria County, you've set this time aside for yourself and for your well-being. So since you've brought your physical body to this place at this time, let's also bring our attention and our awareness and our focus to here, now. Whether you're relaxing in corpse pose by laying on the mat, whether you're sitting, let your eyelids gently drift closed. And let's begin to draw our awareness to ourselves, to the feel of our breath as it moves into and out of our bodies. We're not forcing any changes with the breath. Rather, we're just allowing those changes to take place naturally as your body, as your breath is ready. All you are doing is noticing how it feels as the breath flows in through the nostrils and the sinuses, as the breath flows through the throat and into the chest, filling the lungs and expanding the ribs. And then on the exhale, we feel that breath contracting the ribs as the breath flows back up, out through the throat, and then releasing it either through our nose or our mouth. Your choice, with eyes closed. When there's no distractions of what's to be seen around you, it's easier to feel what's happening with your body. So feel those slow inhales, giving yourself permission to take all the time that you need to fill the lungs completely. And then enjoy those slow exhales. Again, giving yourself permission to take all the time that you need to empty those lungs completely. And do we find that as we focus on the breath, as we pay attention to it, does our breath smooth out? Do those inhales and those exhales begin to last a little longer in a slow, gentle process? And then if you would like, still with eyes closed, begin to check in with the muscles and the joints in your body. Perhaps starting with the muscles of the forehead. Is your brow furrowed in frustration or concentration? Or is your brow relaxed and smooth? And then we can notice, are our eyelids lightly closed? Or are we really squeezing them together? Let those eyelids be relaxed. Can we relax the muscles in our cheeks and our jaws so that instead of gritting our teeth together, our jaw just hangs softly? In fact, if you would like, gently part the lips just a little slit. And having that little bit of open space between our lips also makes it a little easier to relax those muscles in our cheeks and in our jaw. And then continue scanning down through neck and shoulders, all the way to your fingertips, all the way to your toes. And notice what you find in your body. Enjoy whatever restfulness, whatever peacefulness you feel. And wherever you feel tension or tightness, see if you can use the slow exhale of your breath to gradually release that discomfort from your body. So that gradually, breath in and breath out, we can just surrender ourselves into the support of the floor, relaxing, unwinding, and letting go. From here, if you're not in corpse pose, let's go ahead and allow ourselves to lie back down into the mat. We'll do our tension reliever stretch. For those of you that need to do your yoga sitting up, we can also do our tension reliever stretch so that we inhale to extend fingers and arms to the wall beyond our head. If we're sitting up, we're reaching to the ceiling. And then on the exhale, we all can bend our ankles, flexing our heels, gently pushing out through the heels. When you're ready, we'll do a nice deep breath in. And on our exhale, let's relax back down to whatever is your resting position. Again, we continue with those long, slow breaths in. And as we continue with our long, slow breaths, we'll do a second tension reliever stretch. Again, inhaling, reaching fingers beyond the head. If you can, spread the fingers wide. And we're gently engaging the abdominals to keep our tailbone and our lower back long and extended. Exhale, flex the feet, pushing out through the heels. Breathing as we hold the pose. And then when you're ready, again, on the breath out, gently come back to your resting position. From here, take a moment and just notice, where do you feel a little better than maybe you did when you first came to your mat today? Next, we'll do some stretches for the shoulders, the upper back. On an inhale, we can open our arms wide to the side. Hands are shoulder high. If you're laying on your back on the mat, can you let the backs of your hands and your forearms rest to the mat? If you're sitting, the deltoid muscles across the top of the shoulder and in the arm have to work a little harder to hold our arms up against the downward pull of gravity. On the breath out, we'll bring our arms together above our heart and let your right hand hold your left wrist so that right hand can gently pull left arm across the top of the chest towards the right. And then can you spread your fingers wide? And then on the exhale, squeeze the fingers against each other. So we are opening and closing our fingers like you would open and close the blades of a scissors. Breathing in, we stretch. Breathing out, we drift them together. And while we are working the fingers, what, if any, stretch are you feeling in the point of your shoulder where that left arm meets your body? And what, if any, stretches are you feeling behind you, behind that shoulder blade, and perhaps into the space between the shoulders? When you're ready, right hand releases and we inhale to open both arms wide, shoulder high. We sometimes call this our letter T pose. And if you're laying back in corpse pose with arms shoulder high, notice the stretch and the openness that occurs in the front of the shoulders and the chest. On your breath out, arms come forward in front of the heart now, so that left hand can hold right wrist. And on the breath out, left hand pulls right arm across the top of the chest towards your left wall. Try to keep that right elbow as straight and extended as you can. Notice the stretch in back of right arm and shoulder. Notice the stretch in the point of the shoulder and behind the shoulder blade. And as we open and close the fingers of the right hand, like the blades of a scissors, Notice what strength you are using in your tricep muscles, the muscles that go from the elbow to the shoulder in the back of your left arm. So right arm is stretching, left triceps are strengthening, fingers are opening and closing. We're creating stretch in the palm, strength in the fingers. And then from here, we can inhale to open the arms out to the sides. If you'd like, exhale, relax your arms back by your sides. If you're laying on the mat in corpse pose, your arms are relaxed, palms up. If you're sitting, hands can rest to the floor or to your lap, whatever works best for you. From here, we will go ahead and bend our knees out to the sides to bring the soles of our feet together. Bound angle close. If you're laying on the mat, we call it reclining bound angle. If you're sitting, it's still bound angle pose. Now, can we keep our tailbone pointing to the wall beyond our big toes? And then let gravity gently sink those knees towards the mat. If it's an uncomfortable inner thigh stretch, you can use your yoga block, whether you're sitting or standing, or a pillow or rolled towel, placing it under the thigh or the knee to give that inner hip and inner thigh any support that it may need. If the stretch is not uncomfortable, be welcome to do it without any support. And notice with each slow exhale of your breath, can you feel muscle tension and tightness gently draining away? And can you feel that slow, subtle softening of those inner thigh muscles as gravity gently tries to bring your knees a hair closer to the mat? If you feel that you would like a little bit of a deeper stretch in those inner thighs, an option would be to rest the hands to the thighs. I'm not pushing, I'm just letting the weight of my hands and my arms be supported on my legs. Noticing what effect does that extra weight have on my inner thighs, on my hips. And can I feel my knees gradually and gently opening a bit more? When you are ready, on a breath out, we'll release the arms and we'll see about putting both feet flat to the floor, hip width apart, and allowing the small of our back to sink towards the mat. Now we'll do a little outer hip and outer thigh stretch, and we'll do it as an upside down number 4, which is sometimes called reclining pigeon. Let's see if we can place our left ankle across the front of the right thigh, just above the knee. And then on the breath out, we'll bring that right knee forward towards our chest. You can use your hands or your yoga strap around the back of that right thigh. The beauty of using the yoga strap as an extension of your arms is it means that it makes it easier for your elbows and upper arms to all relax to the mat. Means our shoulders, our upper back, our neck can be at rest. We can use finger strength, a little bit of bicep strength to gently draw the strap in, to gently draw that right leg in. And as we do so, notice what you feel where your left leg meets your body. Are you feeling any outer hip or outer thigh stretch? While we're here, let's do 4 clockwise circles of our right foot. Now we're trying to make those circles big. That means they take lots of time. And then when you're ready, we can reverse and do 4 circles in the counterclockwise direction. And when we've finished our circles, we'll let that right foot be at rest. Now, if you feel safe adding a little more stretch to left outer hip, the option here is to bend the left ankle, flexing your foot and pointing those left toes back towards your left knee. How did that affect what we feel? Again, each breath out is an opportunity to gently breathe away any new discomfort that may have occurred by flexing that foot. And then when you're ready, let's go ahead. We'll uncross the legs. We can release our straps, setting it aside. And we'll lift both flexed heels up to the ceiling. Taking a moment to stretch through the lower back, to stretch through the glutes and the hamstrings, to gently stretch through the backs of the knees and the calves, and even through the ankles and the heels. Now, if you would like a little more stretch, notice what occurs if we touch the tips of our big toes together, angling our heels towards the outside wall, so that our feet are creating the shape of an upside down letter V. How does that affect what you feel in outer ankles and outer calves? When you're ready, we'll reverse so that now the toes separate and we can touch the points of the heels together as toes turn to the outer walls. And now we do have more of a natural V shape with our feet. And how does that affect what you feel in the calves and the backs of the knees and the hamstrings? Again, we'll switch. Heels open out as big toes touch. And remember our slow, smooth breaths. And one last time, we'll reverse. Toes open out as heels touch. Notice, does your body want to bend the knees because it creates extra stretch in the back of your legs? You do what is safe for you today. And then from here, let's go ahead, release the feet. We'll bend the knees, returning our feet to the mat. Notice how lower back arched, so gently relax it, pointing your tailbone beyond your toes. And take a moment to notice if left and right halves of your body or hips feel different, or do they all feel the same? For our right leg, we'll place right ankle across the front of the left thigh, just above the knee. And on the breath out, left thigh muscles pull that leg up towards our chest. We can loop just the hands or the yoga strap around the back of that left leg. We're keeping our right leg out of the strap so that we have room for right knee to open nice and wide to the side, because that's what gives us our outer hip and outer thigh stretch. And again, we remember nice, slow inhales and even longer, slower exhales. If you'd like, we can do about 4 counterclockwise circles with the right foot. Remembering we're not hurrying. It takes longer to go around a big circle than it does a little circle, and we're working to make our circles as big as possible. And when you've done your 4, we'll reverse those circles going the opposite direction. And then we'll let that right foot come to rest. If you feel that you can safely add a little more stretch, here's where we could flex the right foot, pointing our right toes back towards our knees, and noticing how it affects what we feel where leg joins the body, and deep within that buttock, in the back, towards the back of the pelvis. Again, each exhale, another opportunity to release whatever discomfort you may be experiencing. When you're ready, can we go ahead and uncross the feet? And now can we put both feet in the strap around the balls of the feet so we can inhale our flexed heels up to the ceiling. Hopefully your strap or scarf or tie or belt that you are using is long enough that you can have a gentle grip between your thumb and your index finger. While you allow the back of the arms and the elbows to remain in contact with the mat. Notice I'm not pulling down on the strap. All I'm doing is using the strap just enough to keep my heels and my ankles above my hips, with the body extended and in good posture. Again, we'll inhale to open to a straddle. If you'd like, let the arms extend so that both the legs and the arms now have our letter V shape. And notice, are you able to keep your shoulder blades relaxed back to the mat? Are you able to let the back of your head rest effortlessly to the floor? Are we still feeling that stretch in heels, calves, backs of knees and hamstrings? And are we now feeling some stretch in inner thighs, inner hips? Again, on a breath out, we'll pull the legs to center. From here, we can release the strap and we'll gently set it aside. Bringing the knees to the chest, exhale. As we inhale, slowly return your feet flat to the floor. Noticing as the feet come down those last few inches, how your tailbone points down and the small of your back arches. Now on your breath out, let's pull those knees back up to the chest. Feeling our thighs gently pressing against abdomen and lower ribs. And again, inhale, slowly returning the feet down. Let's do 2 more exhale poses. Those of you that want more challenge can do them with arms out in letter T pose, where we're not tempted to press against the floor with the hands, because we know with arms up this high, that's not going to help us move those legs. Last time, your exhale, pulling up and in. Now from here, get your yoga strap and we will loop it around the ball of the left foot. For now, we can hold both ends of the strap in our right hand between the knees. And let's go ahead, wing your right elbow out shoulder high and gently roll to your right side so that we have a reclining spinal twist, bent knees. And we are trying to bring those bent knees up towards the right elbow. Yet at the same time as knees are pulling towards elbow and we stack right hip over left, are we able to let left arm, particularly the back of our hand, and that left shoulder blade to remain relaxed and effortless against the mat? for those of you that would like a little more stretch, since we have our yoga strap around our left foot and we are holding both ends of the strap in the right hand, now we can inhale and straighten out through that left leg. And we can use our yoga strap to gently draw that left foot closer to our right shoulder. And as we straighten through left knee, adding some length to heel, calf, back of knee, and hamstring and glute on the left side. How does it affect what you feel in your lower back? Through your waist or through your chest? As you feel ready, we can go ahead and gently release that strap to bend left knee. And can we use our transverse abdominal muscles that go across the belly, and perhaps a little push with that right arm to roll us back to center in our knee to chest pose. How differently are your left and right arms placed? Do we need to make any movement at arms and shoulders to get those arms placed equally? And how differently do they feel? We'll get ready for our second reclining spinal twist, this time looping our yoga strap around the ball of the right foot, and then holding both ends of our strap in our opposite left hand as we extend right arm out to the side, shoulder high. When you're ready, go ahead and exhale, rolling over onto your right side, trying to draw those knees up as close to your left elbow as you can. I did not cue it on the other side, but as our legs go left, can we turn our head in the opposite direction to the right? And of course, remember, we hold the pose, not the breath. So let's keep that breath flowing slowly and smoothly in and out. How's that stretch across the front of your right shoulder? If your right arm is up in the air and doesn't come down to the ground, remember, here's where you can put a yoga block under that arm to help support the arm, to have less discomfort in that shoulder. And just like we did to the other side, there's also the option to inhale and stretch out through right knee, using our yoga strap to gently draw that right foot closer towards our opposite left shoulder. How are we feeling with that extra length in lower back and glutes? Does it change the stretch that you feel in the hamstrings, the back of the knee, that right calf? The waist position doesn't change at all, but how differently do you feel with one leg bent versus one leg straight? When you're ready, we'll go ahead and release our strap from that right foot so that we can bend the right knee to stack on top of left. And on an exhale, now let's go ahead and roll back to center, our knee to chest pose. If you'd like, gently rock from side to side. If you prefer to lay still, again, that's your option. And notice, what, if any, differences do you experience between left and right fronts of shoulders, sides of ribs and waist, sides of lower back and glutes, hamstrings and calves? When you're ready, we can again gently inhale our feet down to the mat. And on the exhale, go ahead and extend those legs to return to your resting pose. All right, from here, can we go ahead and roll over onto hands and knees? If you want to roll to one side, like the fetal position, and use your hands to help you push up to sit, please be welcome to do so. We are going to do a pose called hare pose, and it's spelled H-A-R-E, hare, like a rabbit. And it's an excellent stretch for these muscles that go across the back of the collarbones and lead up into the back side of the neck. So for hare pose, we can come to hands and knees. Now, this is only if you have no problems with untreated high blood pressure or glaucoma, which would be pressure in the eyes. If you have vertigo, you may want to simply just allow the chin to sink to the chest in either hands and knees or sitting. For those of you who are doing hare pose, we're going to bring elbows and forearms down to the ground as we keep our hips above our knees. Don't let your hips sink back. Keep your hips above the knees. And then we're going to tuck our chin to our collarbone to lay the very flat of our head, resting to the floor. Now, because I have longer arms, I'm winging my elbows out to the side so that I can rest the flat of my head to the floor and still let my arms support the weight of my torso, not the neck. As you breathe in, go ahead and let your hips reach towards your heels. Notice that you're rolling to gently rest the forehead and the bridge of the nose to the mat. Now, as you exhale, press with the shins, rolling your weight up onto your forearms. And notice, can you roll till your chin tucks to your collarbone and you're towards the crown of your head? Here's that great big stretch across the back of the shoulders behind the collarbones. And let's repeat that movement. Inhaling to take weight to shins, hips towards heels, forehead, bridge of nose to mat. And then exhaling to press with the knees and the shins to take your weight to your forearms and to the crown of the head. Notice how when we inhale, the front of the throat is nice and long. And when we exhale and shift our weight, it's the back of our neck that's nice and long. We're gently rolling, massaging our scalp. We're not sliding our head on the floor. And we are supporting our weight with our forearms. When you're ready, we can carefully come back to center. And now let's press with those forearms to lift our head up, returning to hands and knees and a neutral neck and spine. Table pose. Okay. From here, let's move the entire spine now. So from the base of the skull all the way to the tailbone. Cat and cow. Breath in. Exhale, tuck your chin and your tailbone under. I'm gently pressing hands into the mat to round my back like a Halloween cat. For cow, inhale, lifting crown of the head and tailbone up to the sky, letting chest and belly sink towards the floor. And we repeat, exhaling to round our back in cat. Inhaling to arch our back like a sway-backed cow. If you find that you need to do this sitting, you can create the same shape by inhaling to arch the chest forward, exhaling to tuck the chin and the tailbone. Let's do 2 more cat and cow combos. We exhale to our cat, rounding our back like that Halloween cat. We inhale to our cow. And then from here, come to a neutral position. All right. Today, let's see however it works. Come up to stand. If you're in your chair, it's easy to come up. If you're on hands and knees, perhaps you want to step one leg back and the other for a brief plank, for a little bit of core strength, for a little bit of arm and shoulder strength. On a breath out, push your belly button up, hands pushing hips back to come into a downward dog. And then we can walk our hands and feet towards each other to come into a standing forward bend.
And if you would like, just gently roll, stacking one vertebra atop the next, all the way up through the shoulders, through the neck, and finally come back up to stand. So we're in mountain pose, our good posture. Take your time making sure that you're not lightheaded or dizzy. And now today we're going to do triangle pose for lots of side body stretch and for some inner hip, inner thigh stretch. If triangle is a new pose to you, you're welcome to stand long ways on your mat, opening your feet out nice and wide. I like to recommend opening my feet out wider than my shoulders so that I can look over my shoulders and see my ankles without having to crane my head. Okay? So when we do triangle, we want that width. Let's turn our left toes completely to the left so that the toes are pointing straight to the left wall. Now lift your right heel and swing your right heel just slightly to the right, and we end up with right toes pointing slightly left. We're still stacking hips, shoulders, and ears as we open our arms shoulder high. Now your left foot is going to push your hips to the right like you're bopping the refrigerator door shut. We bend at this left hip. Notice the line of the spine stays straight as I go from vertical through diagonal. Your hand can rest to your thigh, to your shin. If you feel that you can take your spine horizontal and parallel to the floor, you're welcome to do that, remembering that it comes from the bend of the hip. Now we still want to keep right shoulder back stacked above the left, and we want to keep our right hand stacked above our shoulder. If you find that that right arm's starting to hang back behind you and it's creating uncomfortable stretch in the front of the shoulder, bring that right hand back up above your shoulder. Okay. So we're feeling some length in the waist, maybe some stretch through that hip crest area, maybe some left inner thigh strength or stretch. What are you feeling in the hamstrings and in that left calf? Let's see if we can turn it into revolved triangle. Breath in. We're going to rotate through the hips and the waist. Let's do it as pyramid pose first. So as we turn the hips, the right arm comes down. Both hands can rest to the thigh or the shin. If your yoga blocks are handy, reach for them and use the blocks on their long edge or on their short edge to help you have balance and to help bring the floor up to where your arms end. And now from here with your blocks under your shoulders, if you're using your blocks, or with your right hand to your left leg, our revolved triangle means we are going to turn our left shoulder up to the ceiling. Left ribs turn up. And if possible, the left arm tries to reach up. Notice as we twist through the waist, we're creating a spinal twist. We're trying to keep that back right heel down to the ground. So how does that affect what you're feeling in right calf? Did revolving your twist add a little more stretch to left hamstring muscles? How did it affect your balance? On an exhale, we'll gently come back down. Our pyramid pose. Let's return it to our regular triangle. So now we inhale, right ribs, right shoulder back up to the sky. Trying to stack left hand, left shoulder, right hand. Now from here, use these right waist muscles. Big breath in. Exhale, pull yourself back up to our starting position. Does that challenge the balance? And we'll relax the arms and we'll turn our feet forward. Now, if you found using your blocks was helpful for revolved triangle, we'll use this time to pick our blocks up. And as we turn our feet to our right, we can put our yoga blocks to the outside of that right calf. Okay? And then as we're standing, right toes point completely to the right, left toes point slightly to the right as well. That's for the safety of our knees. Okay, as we open arms up, remember your good posture, stacking hips, shoulders, and ears. We don't want to be leaning forward. Okay, right foot pushes hips to the left. Think of bopping that refrigerator door shut. And then continue that bend at the right hip, keeping nice straight spine. Remember, we don't want to round our ribs. If your ribs are rounded, that's not the shape we're looking for. We're simply taking our spine from vertical through diagonal, maybe towards horizontal. And again, that right hand can rest to thigh, shin, yoga block. If you need to move that back left heel a little further away from you to accommodate the stretch, be welcome to do so. How are we feeling? How different does this side feel compared to the other side? Is it easier? Is it more challenging? There's no correct answer, and there's nothing inherently good or bad about your answer. Just an awareness of what is. Now again, we'll rotate through the hips, so this left hip that's pointed up to the ceiling points forward, and we bring our shoulders and our hips aside of each other horizontally for triangle pose. And how does pyramid pose. And how does our pyramid pose affect what we feel in the back of that right leg? If you're using your yoga blocks, make sure that your left wrist is under your shoulder. If you're not using blocks and hand does not reach the ground, rest your left hand to right thigh or to right shin. And now again, we'll do a spinal twist, turning through the waist to turn right ribs, right shoulder, right arm up to the sky. We're turning to look to the wall behind us. And just like in all our yoga poses, we continue that breath, letting it flow in, letting it flow out. Are we able to keep that back left heel down to the ground? And what, if any, effect does doing your spinal twist in revolved triangle do to affect what you feel in outer hips or outer thighs? When you're ready, let's exhale, bring it back down to our pyramid pose. And then we can keep right hand where it is to right leg or to yoga block. And we'll return to our triangle, turning the left side body back up to the sky. Trying to stack one shoulder above the other. Trying to keep our torso stacked above our thighs. Now lots of strength in that right leg, breath in. Exhale, push with right leg, pull with left waist and rib muscles. Come on, back up. Yeah, good job. Exhale. Let's turn our feet forward to a wide angle standing pose. The space between our legs is an angle, and we're trying to have the little toe edges of our heels in line with our little toes. So instead of having your feet angled this way, swing those heels out so that our feet are parallel to each other. Because now we'll do wide angle standing forward bend. You can rest your hands to your thighs, bending at the hips, or you can bring your yoga blocks with you, one or both. Using yoga blocks does not mean you are tight or stiff. Yoga blocks are great for someone that may have longer legs or shorter arms, because it now brings the floor up to where your arms end. And it allows you to do the pose safely and stably. If you have shorter legs or longer arms like I do, you may be welcome to not use the block if it's easy for you to rest hands to thighs, shins, yoga block, or mat. Go ahead and let your head hang down if that's safe for you to do so. Again, if you have vertigo, untreated high blood pressure, or glaucoma, keep your head in line with or slightly higher than your heart. Otherwise, be welcome to relax the back of the neck, letting the weight of your skull
help create a little length in those neck muscles. Now, if you would like, an option is to walk your hands and your torso over towards the left leg, noticing how that changes what your body feels. I'm still keeping both legs extended. And then another option is to walk your torso all the way over towards the right leg. And again, notice what changes occur. If you're using blocks, hold your blocks and walk those blocks with you. And again, we'll go to the left. And then one last time, we'll walk back over to our right. And then from here, we can walk back to center. Okay? When you're ready to come up, we can bring one hand to the thigh to support our torso, and then the other. If you need, you can push with the hands against the thighs, or you can use the strength of glute and lower back muscles to gently pull you back up, or work with both together. Yay! Once we're safely up, let's walk our feet together. If you need, take a moment in mountain pose. And as long as you feel good with your balance in mountain, I invite you to close your eyes and just take a moment to notice. Where does your body feel the benefit of all the work that you have done? Okay. From here, we're going to try to do some balance poses standing on one foot. If you would like to go to a wall or a piece of furniture here at the Art Center or in your home, holding on to something when we do balance poses does not mean you can't do the pose. Holding on does help prevent falling and injury and allows you to feel safer and more stable as you do the pose. So please don't ever feel bashful about using walls or furniture for support. Let's start with mountain pose. You're standing sideways to whatever you're holding on to. And we can inhale the arms up to extended mountain. If you're using a wall, rest a hand to the wall. If you're using furniture, maybe that hand needs to stay down. Now let's turn it into one-legged extended mountain by shifting our weight to our right foot. Remember, your right knee stays relaxed. And now on the exhale, we bring left knee up hip high. We're flexing our left foot, and we're having our left heel under that left knee. On a breath out, can we draw the left knee out to the left side, turning it into tree pose as we rest our left foot against the inside of our right leg. If you find that you need to bring that left foot down for a second for balance, do that. And then just try to go right into tree. Are you still breathing? I'm using a focal point, which is an object or a place that doesn't move, and I can direct all my attention to that, and by narrowing my focus to that one spot, hopefully it helps with balance. On a breath out, can we bring that left knee back into our one-legged extended mountain? And let's exhale to come on down. And again, we'll do a gentle forward bend, hinging at the hips and just relaxing lower back and neck into our stretch. Remember, in forward bends, if you don't have your blocks, rest your hands to your thighs or your shins. I don't stress the need to touch the floor. I'd rather you keep your hips above your heels and keep your knees safe by keeping the knees either straight or having just the least little bit of bend in those knees. When you're ready, we'll gently roll back up to stand, coming to our mountain pose again. And again, make sure that you feel comfortable with your balance. And then from here, we'll inhale to our extended mountain. Okay, our weight shifts to our left foot, noticing that your tailbone goes from being centered between your ankles to aligning more closely above your left ankle. And on the exhale, we pull our right knee up into our one-legged extended mountain. We're breathing. As we feel steady with that balance, let's Let's go ahead and now pull the right knee out to the right side, seeing if we can rest our right foot against the inside of the left leg. I like to round my arms a bit in tree. You do what you need to do. If your left hand's holding a wall or your right hand, that's fine. Let's do a breath in. And can we exhale and return to our one-legged extended mountain, making sure our tailbone is pointing down, crown of the head is reaching up. And again, let's exhale, gently drifting out and down. One last time, standing forward, bend and relax your neck. In fact, if you'd like, we can gently nod our head yes a bit. It's hard to hold tension in the neck if we're nodding yes. With relaxed knees, again, we can inhale and roll back up to our mountain pose. And if you are away from your chair or your mat, come on back. And let's see if we can come back down to our mat without touching our hands to the floor. The more we can keep our legs and our core strong to get up and down without pushing with hands, it's an indicator of the longer we'll be able to live independently. So if you really want the challenge, you can put your hands behind your head, and maybe we step one leg back, bringing that knee gently down, laying that foot flat. And then maybe we can bring the other leg down. We can start to sit back and off to the side and undo those legs. Yay, everybody made it safely. And release the arms. If you need to use the hands, absolutely. Do what you need to do to be safe. These are exercises that you can practice at home, but safety's foremost. From here, let's go ahead and let ourselves find whatever is your comfortable position for our closing relaxation. Okay. And then as you use whatever yoga props you would like to have, go ahead and let yourself settle in. We'll return to our slow, smooth breaths. And once more, just scan through your body from head to toe, noticing how do you feel now compared with how you felt when you first came to your yoga mat. Enjoy the slow, smooth breaths. Gently breathing out any discomfort that you may find anywhere in your muscles or your joints. Breathe out any tension or tightness. Breathe out any last stresses or worries. As we continue with our slow, smooth breaths, today I'd like to share with you a little reading called The 5 W's of Life. Maybe we remember from English class when we're asking questions, we have 5 W's: the who, what, when, where, and why. Well, we can use those words about life as well. So our first W, who. Who you are is what makes you special. Again, who you are is what makes you special. So don't change for anyone. Our second W is what. What lies ahead will always be a mystery. Do not be afraid to explore. Again, what lies ahead will always be a mystery. Don't be afraid to explore. Our third W is when. When life tries to push you over, you push back harder. Again, when life tries to push you over, you push back harder. Our fourth W, where. Where there are choices to make the one you won't regret. Where there are choices to make the one you won't regret. Too often, we let other people's thoughts and ideas influence our choices, trying to live to meet someone else's expectations. Make the choice that you won't regret. And our fifth W is why. Why things happen will never be known for certain. So take life in stride and move forward. Again, why things happen will never be known for certain. So take life in stride and move forward. Hopefully, at least one of those W's really struck a chord within you. So let's just take some time being with that thought. Noticing what feelings, what thoughts, what inspirations or memories may arise because of it. Notice how it makes you feel. Notice what there is for you to learn from how you feel. And just continue with those long, slow inhales. And those long, slow exhales. Whatever insights you may have gained from our 5 W's of life, let's see if we can tuck them into our minds or our hearts so that we can take them with us as we go through the day-to-day. Let's see if we can hold within us the calmness and the peacefulness that hopefully we have gathered and are enjoying. Again, tucking it within our minds and our hearts and our souls to carry with us as we go through the rest of the day-to-day. And as you're ready, let's start to gently bring a little movement back into our bodies, letting those movements gradually grow bigger, grow stronger, until you feel that you are ready to carefully roll to one side if you're laying on your yoga mat. We can all open our eyes. And if you're laying on the mat, use hands and arms to help bring you back up to a sitting position. And I'd like to thank all of you who are joining us in person today at the Community Arts Center. I'd like to thank those of you who are joining us on our YouTube channel. Thank you for being here. Namaste. For those of you joining us through the YouTube channel, we do have in-person yoga classes every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. We have yoga classes Tuesdays at 6 p.m. and we also offer seated chair yoga classes Wednesday mornings at 8:30 a.m. So to sign up for any of those classes live, please call the Community Arts Center at 814-255-6515. Thank you.